Yo, what's up, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy, Double B Babble, the franchise player, here live once again on a special edition of the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. And man, I got a good one for you today. Look, this dude has been all over the country. We're talking about doing the most, man. He ran havoc and just ran roughshod all through Texas. The first ever, the youngest, I should say, NWA National Heavyweight Champion in history. This man is like a former NWA Top of Texas champion, Panhandle champion, 3-time tag team champion, man. Let's bring him in right now. My boy, Jake Lawless. I am Jake Logan. How are you, Jake?
I'm good, man. Thank you for having me. How are you?
Oh, man, I'm splendid, man. I'm having a good day. You know, I got my boy on here. So I saw a post you put online today.
Yeah.
And that's what caught me. That right there made me want to talk to you. Like, I fucking respect you a lot, man. And I want you to know that.
I appreciate that, man.
Sometimes in this business, you don't get, people don't give you the respect that you earned and you deserve. And, it happens, man. I got a kid that just literally put out a wrestling resume to several promoters around the country and didn't add my company or another company that basically carried him along the way.
Yeah.
So one of the promoters sent me a message and said, "Hey man, don't you know this kid? So and so, so and so." I'm like, "Yeah, he's one of the guys that works for me." And they're like, "Oh, well, he claims he never worked for you at all." And I'm like, "Well, then he didn't." So, yeah, he didn't. That's what I'm saying. So if he didn't claim he worked for us, he did not.
Right. So, absolutely.
Respect, man. Sometimes people and their kids.
I appreciate it. Yeah, man. I felt it was something that was bugging me for a while. It started opening my eyes when I got into contact with EC3, and he's been doing this whole control your narrative thing, and it's not just a gimmick. Like, it's literally like something he lives by, like control your narrative, do the things you're supposed to do in life, don't conform to society standards, everything like that. Talking with him, and then after like clarification, I sat and talked to my fiance, and she was like, "Yeah, you used to be a real dickhead back in the day." From probably around 2018 to like the end of 2016 to like the 2018. And like I was starting to realize, I was like, man, like some of these guys like that I traveled with, that I shared the ring with, some guys that I just talked to in general, like I probably didn't show as much respect as I should have. And so that's why I want to send out that post, man. Like, just kind of apologize. I can't change the past, but I can work for a better future. You know what I'm saying? So it's like control your narrative. As cliche as it might sound, control your narrative. Build a better future. Forget the past. So
that's not really a bad thing, man. That's actually a pretty good thing for people to understand. If you control your narrative, life gets a whole lot better in this industry.
Yeah, it really does. And like, I that post probably wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for, one, my fiance telling me I was a dick, and two, leading into that, EC3 telling me like all of this stuff, like how to do these certain things and like get rid of the past, destroy your past, pretty much, become a better version of yourself, become who you were always meant to be. You know what I'm saying?
That's that's a very good way to think about it. Like, what happened yesterday is yesterday. That's the past. You can't change the past. The present is what you need to look at, and the future is what you're striving for. So,
exactly.
I mean, I've seen your career in the past. I see your career in the present. I see what you're doing now for the future. And man, I'm totally fucking impressed.
I appreciate that, man.
So tell us a little bit about what you plan on doing over the next, I don't know, a couple weeks.
Well, when I moved to Florida, I kind of took a step back from not professional wrestling, because that's my first love. Let's be honest. I took a step back from independent wrestling a little bit and just kind of watched from the sidelines, took care of myself, took care of me and my fiance, and took care of the things that I needed to do in my personal life in order to have a better future, and not just my personal life, but for my wrestling career. And so, man, I had to take a step back because in Texas, and I'm not calling anybody out, but there's a lot of egos. You've been there. You've seen it. There's a lot of egos, and it's kind of like I had to take a step back and get away from the egotistical people in my life because that's what was rubbing off on me. You know, I was having my own ego. I was thinking that my own shit didn't stink. And that's what led me down the hole that I was in. If that makes sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Um,
And for someone to be able to be like, hey, I need to take a step back and reevaluate myself, not just as a professional wrestler, not as an athlete, but as a person.
yeah.
Like in life, man, that's a huge win.
And so like I'm still like not I don't have my foot completely in the door of independent professional wrestling. I'm taking about maybe 2 bookings a month. Taking the advice of EC3 and the whole control your narrative thing. And basically I'm making these bookings count because let's be honest, if you're not making money, why are you doing it?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
You're
I
not making
love
money at
professional
all.
wrestling. I'm passionate about professional wrestling, but how many independent professional wrestlers out there actually have health insurance? You know what I'm saying? Let's shoot. I don't have health insurance at the moment. So if I'm taking a professional wrestling booking for this indie show in, little town Mississippi or little town Georgia, I got to be getting my money. Because if I get hurt, my shoot job won't care if I'm hurt, you know? So I want to take the bookings that are going to mean the most, that are going to help me the most in my career, help me get to that next level, help me get to that contract so I can take care of my family, so I can buy my dad a new car for all the things he's ever done for me, so I can put a roof over my soon to be wife's head so that we can have children who are happy and have food on their table, you know? So
You
I
know,
I'm going off on a tangent and I apologize, but
oh no, man, don't apologize, man. I totally look. Look, I can tell you this right here, man. I see who you are. I see where you're going. I know where you've been. And the fact that you've taken so much time to put yourself in a position that's going to be beneficial for not just you, but for your family and as a person, like not just like I said, not just as a wrestler, but as a person in general. This is for me, this is a lot of growth. This is a lot of maturity. You know what I mean? You see the business for what it is, a business. A lot of people look at this as a hobby.
yeah.
You know, I look at it like this, man. If I'm going to work my shoot job 40 hours a week, get on a plane Friday night, go wrestle somewhere Friday night, go wrestle somewhere Saturday, fly home Sunday, or even fly home. I've done it. Fly home Monday morning and go right from the airport to my work. If I'm missing hours away from my kids, away from my family, away from my home, if I'm doing that week after week after week, it's a fucking job.
Yeah.
It's not a hobby. It's a job. I wrestle 4 days a week. That's 4 days a week that I'm gone away from my family, away from my kids. That's a job. So if I'm gonna make this job, well, let me rephrase it. It's a career because a job is just over broke.
Yep.
If I'm gonna make this a career, I need to be paid the wages that I earn. I need to make that count. And health insurance and stuff like that. In professional wrestling, even WWE guys, like the WWE, they don't have health insurance for their guys.
Yep.
You have to be a select guy to get health insurance. AEW, they don't have health insurance for every person on the roster, but they're working towards it.
Yep.
So independent wrestling as a whole, there's no fucking insurance companies that can handle that.
Exactly.
You know, so
And
you really need
not
to
a
control
knock
your
on
narrative.
yeah, and that's not a knock on independent professional wrestling because they see it as a business too. They have to control their own business. They have to control their narrative. They have to figure out who's going to be right for whichever spot.
Mm.
I'm not a name in this business, and I know that, but I can bring value to a show after working for you, if that makes sense. I can help put butts in the seats. You just got to allow me the opportunity to do so. But with that, it's a business. we have to do business together. You have to pay me my fee, and I will do exactly what you want, when you want, how you want it. And we got business. You know what I'm saying?
That's good business. That's good business. And speaking of good business, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go ahead and do a quick commercial break so we can pay the bills on this show. We'll be right back with Jake Logan.
Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these rules are lame, have been taking all the fun out! Drive me insane! All these
When you want to get your hair cut, you go get your hair cut right. You head down to Big D's Barbershop. Big D's Barbershop, Vancouver, Washington's best and brightest. 1019 Main Street, Vancouver, Washington, where you can go get your hair lined up, cuts, fades, shampoos, conditions, and all the great things that go with supporting a local barbershop in a local business area. You can also reach them online at www.bigdsbarbershop.com. Go get your haircut right.
These are more than just the sounds of a safe place to go after school. These are the sounds of interest being ignited and of mentors making an impact. At Boys and Girls Clubs, we don't do just one thing. We do whatever it takes to meet the needs of every kid who comes through those doors. Because whatever it takes is what it takes to build great futures. Great futures start here.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Great futures do start at the Boys and Girls Club, and we are back with Jake Logan. And Jake, right before we went to break, we were talking about the independent wrestling scene and like life in general. And with the independent wrestling scene, like you said earlier, it's not a knock on indie wrestling because indie wrestling is where we came from. It's what built us. It's who we are.
Exactly.
You know, it's a lifestyle. It's a life-defining moment when you step in that ring for the first time and you do it for X amount. You've been doing it 10 years, man. That's a long time to be doing it. So you think about everything that has gone on and the things that can go on and where they lead you to. Now, making a change by not working so many shows and working for so many people. And basically, ladies and gentlemen, we call it the bump card. You get so many bumps on your bump card because you can only take so many, ladies and gentlemen. It's not something I would recommend for the average person. When it comes to the bump card, you like EC3 said, you've changed your narrative. I always tell guys this, and I don't mean to sound like an asshole to anyone that's listening to this podcast or any of our beautiful stations that we play this on, but in general, I tell my guys this: work for someone that's going to get you somewhere. Don't waste your time working for Tom, Dick, Harry, Joe, Jack, Jane, and Bill. Because if I'm going to go out there and I'm going to put my life on the line, it's not going to be in front of 3 people. That's for fucking sure.
Yeah.
I'm going to go out there and I tell people all the time, you go out there, no matter how many people in the crowd, you wrestle like you're the main event at WrestleMania.
Yep.
You give those people what they came for. But at the same tone, how does it benefit you as an independent wrestler? That's my thing. How does it benefit you as an independent wrestler?
Yeah.
So when it comes to that, where do you see yourself going? You move from Texas to Florida. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you, there are 3 places in the United States, well, 4 places in the United States that are wrestling hotbeds. Portland, Oregon, Los Angeles, California, the state of Texas, and the state of Florida.
Yep.
You moved from Texas, where it was popping. It was a wrestling show like every weekend in Texas. I know. I've spent a lot of time there. You moved to Florida, and immediately You had a WWE tryout.
Well, I mean, it wasn't immediately. It took a little bit to get there. I'll tell you. I'll tell you how the tryout got set up. It ultimately got canceled because of the coronavirus and got rescheduled. So I moved from Texas to Florida, and like I was saying earlier, like Texas, it's got a lot of egos, and because of how many egos there were, it was rubbing off on me. I'll reiterate that because that's who I used to be. My girlfriend would tell you all day, you used to be a dick back in the day. But there was a point where I was traveling from Amarillo to Dallas every weekend. And my fiance was right there, so she has every right to say I was a dick back in the day. She was right there for me every step, every mile, every bump of the road. She was there. Mm-hmm. And so that's 6.5 hours every single weekend, there and back. It takes a toll. And then being around the same people, the same shows, and that's Texas and Florida are similar in this aspect. Is like once you go to one independent professional wrestling show, you're pretty much seeing it all because it's all a lot of the exact same talent. So it's like while it may not be the same two people wrestling on the same card every single time, it's pretty much the same match over and over. You know how today's yes. And I'm gonna sound like a grizzled young vet here, but
go for it, my man. Go for it.
But it's these tope suicidas, these super kicks, just over and over. You see them in every match. And I was telling you earlier, I like to tell a story in that ring. That's where my heart lies. That's the match that made me want to be a professional wrestler was Chris Jericho versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 19.
The ladder match.
No. It was a single. No.
That was on Raw.
Ladder match was in 2008.
Yeah.
But WrestleMania 19, Shawn Michaels versus Chris Jericho. And I don't remember the setup, but I remember the match. And you got Jericho in there and you got Michaels in there. Both amazing workers, amazing storytellers.
Mm-hmm.
And once I saw the story being told, once I saw Michaels overcoming the adversity that because of Jericho, throwing all the heat on him and everything and coming back and popping up with that nip up and hitting him with the flying forearm and nipping up and hitting him with the super kick and dropping that elbow, man, oh my God. Just like thinking about the match just gets me excited. Like I might just go watch the match after I'm done here,
Yeah.
But that was the match that did it for me, man. Like I always loved wrestling. Me and my dad would flip through the Monday Night Wars and everything like that. And then I knew I loved professional wrestling. And my dad was already involved with it come WrestleMania 19. I was always in the crowd playing with my little action figures, watching my dad do his thing. I didn't want to be a wrestler when I saw my dad take a kendo stick to the back, and he was just a manager. I was crying my eyes out, and I'm like, why are you doing this? And then I got smartened up that same night to the business when I had to be brought back to the back. And when I got brought back to the back by my mom, and I saw my dad laughing with the guy who just hit him over the back so many times with the kendo stick, I literally went to the back and I kicked this guy in the shin. And I saw my dad and him laughing together. And I'm like, what is going on?
What the hell's going on? You just beat my dad's ass with a stick. And now here you are shaking hands with him.
Exactly. What's going on? That's how I got smartened up, man. And then shortly after, I started taking my first few bumps at 8 years old. I saw the match with Jericho and Michaels. And that's right then I was like, after this match, wrestling has to be my career. That has to be it. And then I had tunnel vision with wrestling. And I made it happen. My dad told me that once I turned 17, then I can start wrestling. And I had my very first match on my 17th birthday. I wrestled against Cody Jones. And, a lot of people look back at their first match and it's cringeworthy. I look back at my match and being in there with such a professional. His dad was Mr. Ebony Tom Jones. I don't know if you remember ever meeting Cody.
Yep.
But But if people don't know who Cody Jones is, go out there, look him up. He's based out of Chicago now. His dad was a legend in this business, Mr. Ebony Tom Jones. And Cody, he was, I believe, 5 or 6 years in, which may sound a little green, but being who his dad was, he had so many years of knowledge under his belt.
He was 5 or 6 years in the business, but he was like 15 to 20 years trained.
Exactly, yeah. And Cody taught me so much. And as a kid, him and his best friend, Austin Riley, I was always fighting for their approval because that's who I wanted to be like, just being around the independent wrestlers, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And like Cody and Austin, they took their turns training me at some points, and the hazing back then was real, man. Like kids today have it easy.
They have no idea. No idea. The kids these days buy a wrestling ring, and then their buddy is the booker who has had like one seminar.
Yeah.
And, with all the stimulus checks going around, ladies and gentlemen, there's a whole bunch of wrestling companies opening up.
Come out to Stimulus Pro Wrestling.
Right. Yeah, get your stimmy match going on. Stimmy on the pole, but it's crazy, man. I'm telling you. So I get what you're saying, it's
but yeah,
we can go on for days with this shit.
I got my first match at 17, and fast forward 8 years later, I'm kind of drowning in it. I put myself in the hole, which is why I needed to make the move to Florida. Me and my fiance, I can't thank her so much. I have so much appreciation for her because I would not be in Florida if it wasn't for her. And she really helped me make the jump. But we moved to Florida and we struggled. We struggled hard. Like three weeks into being here in Florida, power was about to turn off. I still didn't have a job. She was able to transfer with her job, but it wasn't the same as her last location. So I told her, "You're not going to be happy here. Just go ahead and quit." So we had a period where we were both jobless again. And so I finally got this job at a gym. By the time I got the job, the power was off for a couple of days. And I was supposed to be a personal trainer. Let me backtrack. I was a personal trainer at Gold's Gym for 2.5 years. So that's the only reason I got hired on at this gym. But when they hired me on, they were like, "Yeah, you're going to be a personal trainer. We're going to do this, 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 and this." And then they pretty much used me as a janitor.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Man.
So while I was able to take care of some of the bills, I wasn't happy. And so I finally switched the job, started making better money. And a year to the day we were living in Florida, I got invited to a WWE tryout. Now, the only reason I did this the only reason I got it was because I had the opportunity of doing extra work for NXT, Raw, SmackDown, all that. Mostly NXT after I got to Florida because it's like an hour and a half from me. And so I don't think I've ever actually told this story on a podcast or out in public. So there you go. Here's the scoop. So I was a nervous wreck because I had the mindset of, I just got this highlight video and I want to use this and I want somebody who's high in power to see this. You know what I'm saying? And I was like so determined to make it happen. So I was told that I'd be doing a spot for the show and I had to go get a physical. And so where they do the physicals, I don't know if you've ever done Extra Talent for NXT, but where they do the physicals outside of Full Sail University, it's this long stretch outside, and they have like these set rooms. Like one's a locker room, the other's a women's locker room. Next is like the physical trainer's room. And so there was a line of us. I was the last one to get my physical, and the last person ahead of me goes in, and he gets his physical, and then Triple H comes down that long stretch of hallway, and he's on his phone, and he's kind of like pacing back and forth on his phone. And I pull up the highlight video on my phone, and I'm thinking in my head, okay, it's now or never. This is probably like the longest 2 minutes of my life.
Yep.
And Triple H is just pacing back and forth. And as soon as I'm about to take a step towards him, he walks away. And I wanted to be like, "Excuse me, don't walk away. No." In my head, I'm like, "Go get him. Go get him." and I couldn't do it. My legs were trembling. My hands were sweating. I was sweating all over. I literally got in the physical trainer's room. They're like, "Were you just working out?" I was like, "No."
I just saw Triple H standing right there that I freaked out.
It's not that it was like, it's because it's Triple H. It's because it's Triple H, and I'm trying to somehow get a job. You know what I'm saying? And so, and man, I hate that. Please, sir, can I have a job? I need money. I hate that, man. And so the rest of the time, like, I'm thinking, man, I blew it. I'm literally in the audience for NXT about to do my spot, and I'm thinking in my head, I blew it. I missed my opportunity. Like, why would I just freeze up like that? And I've never done that in my life. Never. I've wrestled in front of thousands of people, man, and I never once froze up. I was comfortable. But I froze up to this one man.
That one man has power, though. That one man has the most. Honestly, man, I think Triple H has about as much power when it comes to NXT that Vince does with Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah. And you know, Triple H is so nice in person too. He'll come up and personally shake all the extra talent's hand. He's so nice. But I just couldn't just be like, "Here, man, take a look at this." I was beating myself up the whole night. Then finally, I'll tell you exactly what show it was. It was when Keith Lee won the North American title.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, I didn't have a spot in the crowd. I had a spot with
I think you were
Imperium.
security, I think, weren't you?
Yeah, I did security. I had a spot with Imperium and Undisputed Era because they were brawling. And I got punched in the mouth. My lips started bleeding because of Bobby Fish.
And Bobby Fish.
Yeah. It's all good. He asked if I was okay afterwards. I was like, of course, man, it happens. It's wrestling. But even right before I went out, man, I was like, man, I blew it with Triple H. Like, he doesn't even know, but I know I blew it. You know what I'm saying? And so after we're doing our thing, I give the security shirt back to whoever I needed to give it back to. And I saw Matt Bloom walking by. And I was like, okay, this is Matt Bloom, head coach of the Performance Center. He's doing what he needs to do here. He looks a little busy, but at the same time, he's just kind of wandering around. You know what I'm saying? I was like, if I didn't do it for Triple H, it's now or never with this guy. So I pull up the highlight video on my phone, and I go up to him. And once again, my legs are starting to tremble. My hands are starting to sweat. And when I'm talking to him, I'm literally stumbling over my words. Probably the worst thing you can do because this guy probably wants to know if I got a good promo. Mm-hmm. And so I'm like, excuse me, Mr. Bloom, I'm so sorry to bother you. I know you're busy, but I've emailed you in the past to no avail. I have this highlight video and I've sent it to you, but I haven't gotten any response. I know there's a Performance Center tryout coming up, and I was wondering, how can I be a part of that? I have this highlight video on my phone ready for you to watch if you'd like to see it right now. And he's like, I need you to email me tonight. Send me your highlight video. Send me other things that you want. I promise you I will take a look at it tonight. And I was like, all right. And being in this business for so long, when a promoter or somebody high in power tells you, I promise you I'm going to take a look at it,
they're not going to look at
it. Most of the time, there's a good 95% chance they don't look at it. And so I'm like, all right. So I immediately sent it to him, just in that 5% chance that he does. And I didn't give it another thought until a day and a half later when he emailed me back and said, get ready. And then an hour and a half later after that, I got an invite to the WWE tryout. And I remember my reaction when I got it because my fiance was having a conversation with my roommate and they both asked me a question and I'm staring at my phone, just frozen, just staring at it.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, I'm going to a tryout. And it's like, it was a very happy moment. And then we get to the tryout. I'm there at the Orlando airport and we're there for what seems like 5 hours. And I'm there, I'm hanging out with Paige's brother, Zach, and Paige's nephew. And that's who I spent most of the time with. And there was another girl from Brazil. Her name was Gia. And that was my little carload that we got stuck in a group together, which I'm very happy and thankful for because I met some really cool people. And so we're in the performance center the very next day. And before we got there, I was hearing in the hotel room, oh, they're probably going to cancel the tryout because of COVID. And like I saw the news, like every hotel TV had something about the coronavirus going on. And I'm like, surely they're not going to cancel this tryout, because it was at the time where it was like, oh, it's just a small virus. It's going to pass by. But every TV had something going on it. It was like CNN, Fox, whatever, other news stations. You know what I'm saying? So we get to the performance center. I'm dressed to impress. I'm looking pretty slick. And we get there. Kenyon Seaman, the guy who hires and fires people, man, he walks in and he's like, sorry, guys. We got to cancel the tryout, but everybody in here has a guaranteed shot at a later date. And I did feel a little crushed. We did get to do promos still in front of like William Regal, Ryan Katz, Brian James, and Steve Carino. And I got some good feedback from Brian James. Looking back at it now and knowing that, like, doing some stuff with EC3, knowing how much better my promos are now and thinking about the promo I did then, I'm like, man, that sucked.
Well, I'll tell you, I'm really good friends with Ryan Katz. I've known Katz since XPW days.
Yeah.
And he actually listens to this podcast quite often, so he'll probably remember this. I'll actually send him the link to this podcast and say, hey, you need to listen at 3155 and listen to this young guy talk about how you listen to him and listen to his promo. This is what I want you to do. Right here live on the podcast, I want you to give me a promo for this one topic. Respect. Give me a 1 minute promo on the word, what respect in this business means to you. Hold on, let me get my timer set.
Oh man, this is gonna be rough.
That's the dude. You shoot a promo off the cuff.
Doing stuff with EC3, I figure out what I want to say beforehand and I script myself out. But I'll give it my best shot.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
How do you earn respect in the wrestling business today? For me, you get in there and you give me a fight. You give me somebody worthy to fight against. And then, and only then, when you beat me, you earn my respect. I'm looking to earn respect of the essential character. So fighting against a worthy competitor and beating them means everything to me. So when we get out there, don't expect a wrestling match. Expect the fight of your life, because that's exactly what I'm going to give you. Because I'm Jake Logan. And if you don't like me, fight me.
Perfect. And you have 6 seconds left. Now, see what you did there, ladies and gentlemen. He's got the point across as to why he was shooting the promo. He got the point across as to why he wanted respect and how he was going to earn it. He didn't diminish his opponent. A lot of guys, when they do promos, all they say is, I'm so great. I'm this, and I'm this, and you're nothing, and I'm going to beat the crap out of you because you're nothing. So when I hear that, the only thing I hear is, you just beat someone that's nothing. So who did you beat?
Yeah.
You know, man, I'm going to destroy you because you're a piece of crap and you're nothing. You'll never amount to anything. And when I beat you, I'm going to be the best. Well, you just beat nothing.
Yeah.
So, good job, kid. You know, and that was a good promo, man. I'll give you 4 stars out of 4 out of 5 stars.
I appreciate that.
5 stars, and you'd be perfect.
It was a little rough going in cold, you know.
Well, that's how you do it, man. Like, I'll tell you, I learned how to shoot promos by literally staring into a mirror.
Yeah.
They told me, you want to be a badass? You think you're a badass? You go stand in front of that mirror and you shoot a promo on yourself. And if you can convince yourself that you're a badass, I'll let you leave the bathroom. And for the longest time, I was like, I'm like, damn, okay, I don't play that shit. You know, but it's like, literally, I'm like, listen here, look, the reason why I'm the franchise is because when I walk into a building, I make shit happen. I put asses in the seats. I earn my pay. When we're in the ring, we're going to do one or two things. One, you're going to beat my ass, or I'm going to beat your ass. But at the end of the night, you're going to respect the fact that I'm the franchise because I told you so. You know, I put him over. I put myself over.
Right.
Now we're in the ring. And kids are like, man, how do you just off the top of your head do that? Simple, man. Like, I think about what I'm going to say. I fucking say it.
When I talk to kids about like explaining a promo, and when they ask how you do it off the top of your head, and I just ask them what they do for a shoot job, right? And they tell me, and I'm like, okay, give me your day-to-day like work duties. Tell me everything off the top of your head that you do from point A to point B. You know, tell me everything, but don't stutter. Don't say, explain everything. And when they can do that, and I'm like, you see how easy that was? It's just got to come just like that. It's just got to come naturally. And then one thing I worry about whenever I do cut a promo like that is I always have William Regal in the back of my head when he says, if you say, you see, or you know, or anything along those lines, you just took 2 seconds off your promo. And 2 seconds is valuable.
Yep.
So,
just like for you young guys that are learning about the business that are listening to this podcast.
That's right. The setting of your promo.
Yep, that's it.
Can absolutely mean everything. If I was cutting that same promo that I just cut, it would be in like I have a few promos on YouTube, and it's like I'm in like a dimly lit room with a good light on me. It shows my muscle definition and everything that makes me look good. That's because that was more of like a heelish promo, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so that's the setting I would be going for.
You got to set the mood when you're doing that because see, what's that expression that's used a lot? Presentation is everything.
Yep.
Ladies and gentlemen, when you walk out of the curtain, people always say, how can you tell which is the good guy or which is the bad guy? It's presentation. It's that first 30 seconds. You know, you walk out that curtain and you stand there for a minute and you give that, you know, The Rock was great at it. The Rock was so fucking great at it because like he'll get in the ring and he'll just stand there and he'll raise a fucking eyebrow. You're like, that guy is such a fucking jerk. I'm going to boo that guy. Or he is so cool. I'm going to cheer that guy. 30 seconds. I always equate it to this. Ladies and gentlemen, think about when you meet your significant other or when you're going on a blind date. The first 10 seconds of that blind date, that guy or girl knows if you're the one they're going to date. It's because that first impression, the way you come across right away, right out the gate, that's what does it.
Yep.
So it is what it is.
And it really frustrates me when I see these promos from people and they have their phone like vertically and they're like in their car or on the couch and I'm like, you don't look like you work out. You look like crap. You're wearing this big ass jacket. Like, it rubs me raw, man. It makes my balls itch. Like,
there's a such thing. There's a word I use in this business a lot, and it's professionalism. Yes. When you're shooting a promo, if you're holding your phone like this, ladies and gentlemen, if you're holding your phone like this, when people look at the video, it's going to be turning like this. And they're going to have these two black bars that come down like this. And it makes your promo look like shit. I'm going to give you an example of a great promo. Watch this, ladies and gentlemen.
Hi, this is James Beard with SWE Fury, and you're watching the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast.
See that? Fucking cake, man.
That
was legendary NWA referee James Beard, by the way, ladies and gentlemen.
I love James Beard.
I love that guy, man. I had him on the podcast last week. Such a good dude to have on there.
You know, he's the first person that told me that I'd be capturing the NWA National title.
Really?
Yeah, he sent me a message, and I was ecstatic when I got it. He said, "We want to give you a rub, kid."
I love James Beard. Let me tell you, there are 3 things that he's done in my career that just totally just blew my mind. I was the NWA Pacific Northwest champion, and he said, you've held that belt longer than anyone else in history.
That's awesome.
I said, really? He says, yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to give you the NWA Continental Championship. Let's see if you can make that belt mean something. So after 695 days, he says, you did so good with that belt, kid. We're going to go ahead and put you against Tim Storm for the world title in Portland. I'm like, what the fuck in Portland? Like my own town, So they did it in Portland. And he didn't tell me this. He would always call me like once a week and give me advice. This is how you're going to excel in NWA. This is what you need to do. This is how you need to get recognized. When I got recognized in PWI, like 4 years in a row, when I made the 500, he was the one that told me. So cool dude. But the night I wrestled Tim Storm for the world title in Portland, James just shows up. Didn't tell me he was coming, just shows up and was like, I'm going to referee your match. What? Are you kidding me? Ladies and gentlemen, this is the guy that's refereed Kerry Von Erich versus Ric Flair. Ric Flair defending the world titles, Nikita Koloff, Sting, Ronnie Garvin. When he won the NWA world title, Ronnie Garvin was James Beard was there. Kerry Von Erich in the what do you call it, stadium? Oh, God, the Sportatorium.
Yeah, Sportatorium.
Those matches, Freebird matches, like legendary fucking wrestlers around the world, from the UWF to the NWA to now SWE Fury. James Beard was the guy. Japan, all that stuff. So for him to be in the ring with me, I was like honestly, I ain't gonna lie, man. When the match was over, I rolled over and said, James, how'd I do? Every time I did something, James, is that okay? How'd I do? Just be yourself, kid. You're all right.
I loved when James took anytime when James told me he was refereeing my match, I knew I was in for a great night. So, James, if you're watching this, thank you, sir.
Oh, he will be. He will be. I'll send it to SWE Fury's Facebook page and all that. Maybe we'll get you on SWE Fury. Who knows?
I'd love that, man. Teddy Long's over there. I've been wanting to meet Teddy Long. I got some unfinished business with Rodney Mack. So.
Oh man, yeah. See, you're over here coughing barking up the wrong tree because Rodney Mack is a beast.
I love Rodney Mack. I was in the ring with him. It was a triple threat, but I was in the ring with him, and it was a fun match, man. It really was. He took great care of me, and he told me I did very well in that match. So
I'm gonna send you a picture. Since you brought up Teddy Long, look, Teddy Long, ladies and gentlemen, used to be a referee back in the old WCW and old NWA days. He became a very iconic figure in the WWE as the general manager of SmackDown, and he was a manager of Doom, Ron Simmons, and Butch Reed. Like, he was so over. So it's so funny because he worked a show with me in California.
Nice.
Yeah, you see, we had this group, right? And it was 4 black guys. It was me. It was Willie Mack, Eric. No, it was 5 of us. Me, Willie Mack, Big Nasty, Eric Watts, LTP. Yeah. That's 4. It was 4 of us, right? So we had this amazing group going around. We were like dominating. So he comes to the show and he says, I want to be part of your group. We're like, what? He's like, I want to be part of your group. I want one of those cool ass shirts. So I give him a shirt. We take a picture with him holding a shirt and stuff. And then he literally texted me every day for like a month. Send me one of those shirts, man. Send me one of those shirts. So I sent him one of the shirts, and he takes a picture in the shirt, and his wife is looking at him like, you look a damn fool. It's so awesome. Funny. So I recently saw Teddy. I was in the airport, and I was in Atlanta, Georgia, and he was going to an SWE Fury show in Texas. And I was like, Teddy, I'm screaming across the airport, Teddy. And he's like, hey. And I walk up to him. He's like, you never sent me that shirt. I'm like, dude, I sent you like 3 of them. He's like, My wife keeps throwing them away. You need to send me. God damn it, Teddy! I don't have those shirts anymore. That was like 10 years ago. I still need one of those shirts, player.
That's awesome, man.
Man. But before I let you go, man, I usually play this game, and everyone that listens to the podcast and they watch the podcast on Facebook, they watch it on YouTube, they watch it on Spotify or on Twitch, or some of our amazing channels like Channel 23 in Portland, Oregon on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, 10 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, 9 p.m. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're live every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. Every Wednesday night live on Facebook, Twitch, and YouTube. But we play this game, and the game is real simple. It's real cool, real fun. It's called Team With, Feud With, or Fire.
Okay.
Very simple concept. You can team with anyone in the industry, no matter who it is, alive or dead. You can feud with anyone, alive or dead. And you can fire any son of a bitch you want to. No questions asked, unless you want to give me an example or a reason why. So, Team With, Feud With, Fire.
Huh. Oh, man. That's a hard one.
I love sending this out. I love it because people are always like, damn, you got me.
Oh. I'm trying to think of who I would fire first because
I'm the third person that we've done this that went right to the fire right away. Like,
well,
I'm gonna fire somebody right now.
You can ask my fiance. I'm a very judgmental person, and I can't help it sometimes. Because she says, "While you were a dick back in the day, you're still an asshole." Gosh. Okay. I would fire. Oh my God. Eva Marie.
I think she's already been fired, but okay, we'll go with that.
I'm just saying, like, just stop it from ever happening, you know? Like,
well, I mean, you know, she's been training with Spanky with Brian Kendrick. So I mean, you never know. She might come back and be a real. Well, no, fuck that. She did that before, so that ain't gonna happen.
That she looked like there at the end that she was trying, and I'll give her that. But early on in her career, she just, I don't know. It was hard to watch.
She was TNA, man, and I don't mean total nonstop action, ladies and gentlemen. That's not what I mean.
Absolutely. Okay, so I would feud with Shawn Michaels.
Wow. Okay. All
and
right.
As much as I would love to team with him, I would definitely feud with him because when I think about the Jericho Michaels feuds, the Triple H Michaels feud, man, he had so many good ones, man. Like, he always helped elevate anybody he was working with, you know?
I can see that.
So
I can totally see that.
I could definitely feud with Shawn Michaels. And I would team with I'm going to have to go with Chris Jericho on this one.
I thought maybe you might.
He is my idol in this business. I'd have to team with him. As much as I want to fight like against him, like that's my dream match. That's one of my ultimate dream matches, me and Jericho, because he's my idol in this business. But I would definitely team with him.
All right, there it is, ladies and gentlemen.
That was hard. Sorry it took so long.
No, that was great. I mean, you had a good reason for every one of them, which is good. But, you know, it's really funny.
I know.
All right, ladies and gentlemen.
Later, I'm gonna message you later and be like, you know what? I would rather fire this person because
you know what? People do it all the time. Like, someone would be like, "Damn, man, you know, I thought about that. Look, we had Matt Seidel on the show. He tried to change the whole narrative of the whole team with Drew Fire. I'm like, no, dude, this is the way it goes. And he was like, he's such a nice guy. Like,
Yeah, I love Matt.
he is such a nice guy. He was like, in this climate, the way things are going right now, I wouldn't want to fire anyone. Everyone wants to work, and I love the fact that I'm like, dude, just fucking fire somebody.
He's cool,
like,
man.
Come on.
Yeah, I get to train with him every so often, and he's real cool. He's very knowledgeable too.
Yeah, he really is a nice dude. He's so down to earth, man. I totally like that guy. If anybody ever wants to learn, he's the guy to listen to.
Absolutely.
So with that being said, if you want to reach this dude right here, this guy right here, I am Jake Logan. You can find him right here on Instagram. Oh my God, man, look. Tell us where you get that cool shirt you're wearing right there.
Oh yeah, this one right here. This is one of my first ones that I designed. It's on prowrestlingtees.com/Jake Logan. I also have a few others, like a pop character one. I got 2 cool designs on there. Shout out to Mark DeGrucci for designing it. He's been on a roll with designing a lot of people who are higher up in this business than me, but I appreciate him so much. He worked with me, and he gave me 2 designs for the price of 1. Now, don't expect that from him if you're looking for a design. He just helped me out.
That's the homeboy discount.
Yeah. But yeah, prowrestlingtees.com/Jake Logan. If I'm wrestling at a wrestling event near you, you can buy them there too. So
that's right, ladies and gentlemen. You can buy them at I am Jake Logan at prowrestlingtees.com, man. Jake, thank you very much for joining me here, man. I love having people on the show that are positive.
Thanks,
and that know how to get it going, man. Like you've changed the narrative, brother.
Thank you so much.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to support the channel, you can go to anchor.fm/the Roundtable Podcast /support. Like, click, and subscribe, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, I'd like to say, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't have to go anywhere, if you need to just stay in the house, during this pandemic, look, stay home, stay safe, please love one another. Once again, it is your boy, the franchise Double B Bad Blood, with your boy Jake Logan. And I'd like to say, once again, thank you very much for joining us, my man.
Thank you so much, man. It was a pleasure.
Peace.
Have a good one.